Hello, friends. Hey, we're so glad that you have joined with us today. In the studios, we have Kason Huddleston. Hey, Kason.
Hey, Clay. How you doing?
How you doing, brother?
I'm very well. So glad to be here with you
You
today.
are from Canyon, Texas.
That's right. That is
a lot of people don't even know where Canyon is. Tell us about that.
Well, Canyon is where Paladuro Canyon is. It's the center of the Panhandle up there. Most people don't even know that. It's where Amarillo is, 16 miles south of Amarillo.
Okay.
But we're West Texas folk. Grew up there my whole life until I came down to Bible school in '89. But yeah, and still go back. Yeah, love it. Love good people.
Yeah, and you're married to April.
Yes, April. We met at Southwestern.
Okay.
I got saved in February of '89. Went to Bible school. Met her in January of '90.
Wow.
Married her December of '90, and we've been married. This will be 34 years this year.
Praise the Lord.
Yeah, and so God's been good to us.
And you've got so you guys met at Southwestern.
We did.
So where's April from?
So April grew up in Rockwall.
Oh, really?
On the east side.
Oh, I had no idea.
She did. She grew up there, went to church on the Rock out there, and actually she first went to Jimmy Swagger's Bible School before she transferred to Southwestern.
Okay.
And that's where we met. And it was really fast, but it's been good, and it's stuck. One life, one wife. And so
I think I need to write that one down, Chris. We need to quote that one right there, brother. That's a good one. Yeah, I was a friend. He was divorced twice.
Yeah.
Before 40, and was on the third one.
Mm.
And he said, the first two was her fault. The third one, when he got to number 3, he went, maybe I'm part of the problem.
There you go. Yeah. Well, hopefully figured it out.
Yeah, he did. I think so. I think he did. So you have children?
Yeah, we've got 3 wonderful children. Rachel, who is our firstborn, and she'll be. Where is this going to be recorded? I mean, can she see this if I say this?
Absolutely.
Okay, maybe
then maybe not say it, right?
Maybe not. Anyway, she's our firstborn.
Hey, it's on the internet, brother, so anybody can see it anywhere, okay?
She's going to be 30 this year. And in August,
that means she's getting mature, right?
That's right. She's married, and her and her husband are actually graduating this Friday with their doctorate in literature from Texas A&M Commerce. And she has a job as a literature teacher at Texas A&M Commerce next fall.
Sweet.
She always read and could read and talk at a very young age. Of course, April homeschooled her. But she's carried that on. And she did her undergrad at Southwestern and then went to Texas A&M Commerce, finished her master's and her doctorate.
Wow.
And so
what an accomplishment.
It's very good. And then our middle daughter, Elizabeth, she's 20-something. I know she don't want me to, so it's 20-something.
Okay, I got it.
But she's a blessing. She works with us part-time at the church and part-time kind of in my business, and just a great, great young lady. She graduated from Southwestern. And then our son, he is 23, I guess, and he just graduated last night from Texas A&M College Station with the construction science, and he's got a job lined up in Rockwall, be moving back, and actually he's also getting married next Thursday.
Congratulations.
So May is a busy month for us, but we're blessed. And just driving back to the studio here from College Station, Clay, I just told April, God has been so good to us. We have a good life, and we have a blessed life. And, I can remember when I was in Brownwood, I was just 24, just took that church, got us something in the district come to a training at Southwestern. So I loaded up people, and you had called, and you'd committed to say, hey, let me come talk on missions on children's metro ministries. And I said, sure. And we met. I sat underneath one of your classes there, and we actually drove back to Brownwood. And little did I know that would be a relationship that lasts 30 years. And we were blessed to be there in Brownwood, blessed to meet you. You've always been a blessing to us.
Thank you. I saw you made a post about being a minister in court.
Mm-hmm.
I've never heard of that before. Tell us about that.
Clergy in court.
Okay, clergy in court.
Clergy in court. So Dallas County, a number of counties, and really other organizations working with Dallas County, they try to get clergy in court a couple of times a year to let them observe children's advocacy, and sometimes it can be adoption. My particular day, it was placements and kinship and things. And the first one was really great. It was a wonderful story of a little girl getting another chance in another home. The other two were pretty sad, but then we got to meet with the judge and their staff, and it was great. The Lord's always had our heart for children, in your ministry and other, of course, Children's Church, but in seeing the needs of the most vulnerable, which are all children, but especially those who are abused or neglected. And I think that the Lord's really relit that in my heart of recent. So that's why I went to clergy in court.
How long did that take? How long were you there?
Well, we were just there 2 hours.
2 hours.
They do sessions like 10 to 12, take a break. And so we were there for the morning session.
Okay.
And the room, it's just that. That judge does that all day long, every day, 5 days a week. I left, I thought there's no way I could do all of that. But she's got a great heart, and I would hope more pastors would catch that heart, and like your heart. I thought about you when I was there, thinking I'm going to see Clay in a couple of days, and don't know if you've ever been in court, but I know you've dealt with thousands.
Yeah, I have been in court, and there wasn't any of those days I was there that it was fun. I can tell you, brother. It was.
Well, I was just observing,
yeah.
And so that wasn't fun, but it was pleasant.
Yeah.
But if I've been with other children standing on their behalf, yeah, it's tough. It's really tough.
So, if somebody wanted to get involved in that, the pastors that are listening today, how would they get involved?
Well, the quickest way is just give me a call.
Okay.
You can contact your ministry for my personal cell if they want it, or they can go to freedomplace.tv and send us a message, or any of our social platforms. It's pretty simple, freedomplace.tv. And we would love to get them connected in any county. Texas is wide open to asking the church to help with kids. Wide open. They have a complete program under the Department of Family Protective Services, which is called the Faith-Based Initiative, where they actually have staff regioned out throughout the whole state to try to engage churches for that very thing.
It's good to hear. When and I will echo that with you. If we can get any way we can get churches engaged, it's a good thing, a God thing. And it also kind of opened our eyes too.
Most certainly.
Of what's taking place, and the hard thing in America, and this has nothing to do with the pandemic, but it's trying to define what normal is.
Yes.
Now, obviously, normal is different now than what it was 4 years ago.
Oh, yes.
But most likely, the people they're going to encounter is going to be a little different normal than what maybe they're used to living every day. And you can't get involved if you don't know.
Right.
And once you know, then you find out, oh, gee, we have this problem right here. And I wasn't even aware of it. So I definitely would encourage other pastors that are watching today.
Yeah, I preached the other Sunday. I've never done it in all my 30 years of pastoring. 30 years of pastoring. I've never emphasized helping children in that manner.
You're not even 30 years old, brother. So how could you be pastoring for 30 years?
Oh, brother, I wish. It's easy to remember because Rachel was just born when we went to Brownwood, so it's easy for me to remember. But last Sunday of April, Clay, I preached a sermon out of Genesis 42 when Reuben and all the brothers were finally, ousted out by Joseph, and they thought they were going to die. And Reuben stood up and he said, I told you, brothers, to not sin against the child. And now it's on our heads. This blood is on our heads. And do you know, I preached that to the church, that we have sinned against the children. Actually, the most gut-wrenching sermon I ever preached, ever in my all 30 years. And just think about it now. Abandonment, abuse, neglect, just putting them, not even thinking about them. And so, at least at Freedom Place, we're bringing it to the forefront, strong and hard.
You guys have got a great location. Before we talk about Freedom, let's go back to Brownwood for a minute. I think when I first met you, you were working at Southwestern. Is that not right?
That is correct. I was the accounts receivable. I was the collection person. I took everybody's money. I did.
You were the collector.
That's right. I was a collector.
And you carried the big stick.
That's exactly right.
Or the big book, depending on which way you look at it, right?
That's exactly right. It was great years. Helped me get through college.
Yeah. So Dr. Gwines
Yes.
was over the school at that time? Right?
Yes, he had just taken it over, and, it was in a dire straits.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
And they had not actually collected tens of hundreds of thousands of dollars of bills. Their collection rate was maybe 55%. You can't do that. So he talked to me, and I talked to him, and I said, well, we can do this if you give me the power. That you can't, come back if you don't have your previous bill paid, and we'll make faith a part of it. We'll make financial aid a part of it. It's just communicating and staying on it. And by God's grace, we hit 98% that first semester I was there, and kept it until I left. And you get cash flow coming in, it changes things. I'm so happy to see all that Southwestern's done now.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah.
Kermit, who worked for Dr. Gwines for quite some time.
Yes.
Before he took over as president, and to see what it's really not the same school. It's really not. I mean, it's what they've done there. It's phenomenal. I do remember you pastoring in Brownwood, which was kind of an easy thing for me because my grandparents lived in a little town called Ozona, and so Brownwood was kind of the halfway point. So my parents would drop us off there at the park right there by the river,
Oh, yes.
And so they would drop us off there, and my grandparents would pick us up. I would spend every day I could, in West Texas, that they would let me.
Oh, yes.
So, and even Underwoods.
Oh, right across the street.
Barbecue.
A little bit, yes.
Yeah. So I had a lot of fond memories. And so, man, when I heard that you pastored in Brownwood, I went, I'm in, brother. We're going to make this happen,
exactly
right?
It was great days.
It really was. And so, but then Lord led you from Brownwood to Rowlett.
Yes, sir.
And you guys planted a new church there.
Yes, sir.
It's called Freedom Place today. Now you got a phenomenal location right downtown. Talk to us about that.
Yeah, so we've been here 22 years now.
Oh,
we planted.
Wow.
Still feel like I'm church planting.
Yeah.
But yes, we got a facility right downtown. Talking about COVID, and you said 4 years. I can't believe it's been that long,
Yeah.
But COVID was our best year ever in all the years of our church, Clay. We were just passionate about continuing to present the gospel, and we were one of the first churches to start having service again. And we did it with grace. If you didn't want to come, it's grace. If you do want to come, grace. But we grew more and raised more money that year, because during that year I drove down the street just 2 blocks from our other building that we were renting, and there was an event center that was now up for sale. It was, hard. Nobody was doing events. And so I engaged them and felt like this was the Lord, and we bought that building, $1.3 million during COVID, raised more money than we ever had, grew, and God's blessed us ever since. Now, I'd like to get that thing paid off, but we're making the payments, and God's growing the church. But yeah, I tell people, we didn't lose anybody. In COVID, we gained, and we knew where everybody was at.
And you got a great location. I mean, it's right downtown.
Yeah, just 2 blocks off of George Bush.
Yeah.
So you can't miss us.
And when I was with you last year, I noticed a favor God's given to you with the schools here. Talk to us about that.
Yeah, so we do an after-school program in schools. And Coyle Middle School's 1 block from us. We're there every Wednesday, been there for years. And every Wednesday after school, it's called Freedom League. And we teach them God's Word, teach them about being good leaders, honor, being good young women. And so we have usually 15 to 20 people. And we've seen them cycle all the way from 6th grade out 8th. I still see them in the city, and some 9th graders and 8th, actually some seniors now. And they still love that. And you know what, Clay? It's amazing to me. We give them, many of them, their first Bible.
Sure.
And we're not in Honduras or some third world country. We give them their first Bible and lead them to the Lord. And we're now seeing some families connect to our church. But yeah, we just love. Our ministry of presence, we're just always there. And I learned that from you, that rain or shine, whether there's 1 or 100, whether the bus starts or not, we're going to be there. And that has paid off. That's what I got. You may not remember, but in that session, as a 24-year-old first-time pastor, heard you talk about that. We go to their doors. We meet them in their homes, and we're always there. And I just began to apply that and the ministry of presence, and it works. And then it's just ballooned out to other schools and other ways that we are just there, and God's honored it.
How has it changed how the community looks at your church?
Totally. Well, number one, they know we're there. And we're not the biggest. We're by far not the biggest. But when I came to Rowlett, Clay, it was hardly even Brownwood because I loved it. I really thought we were going to die there, you know. I mean, we're going to stay. We're lifers. But the Lord told me that he wanted us to go up there, and what the Lord shared with my heart, he said he was going to enable us to be the most impacting factor for God's kingdom in the region. I always thought that meant huge. But once I finally got my pride out of the way, I realized, you know, a little piece of dynamite, it's not that big. But when you put it between a couple big boulders, you light that baby up, it gets impactful really quick. So as I settled in that and just began doing what we're doing and being there and impacting them, everything's changed. Everybody knows our church. It's what they call us, it's church more than just Sundays, because we're out doing many, many things with a great group of people, and people are loving that, and they're beginning to come because they know we're there to meet them whatever they need. And we're full gospel. We believe in the Word of God. We teach it straight. We believe in the power of the Holy Spirit, all that. We don't have to hide anything in the closet. Just be who we are outside and inside, and people love that consistency, transparency, and integrity.
I noticed that when we went, if you remember, we went to the school.
Yeah. After
that meeting, and I watched how the people interacted with you.
Mm-hmm.
Pastor was in the house.
Mm-hmm.
There's a respect that I haven't seen in a long time. So I commend you for the impact that you're making there, not just with the children, with those who. Yeah, I can't even imagine what it's like to be a teacher in America today.
Yeah,
you're you know, when we first started, I said, you can't put kids in a large amount and minister to them. I'm like, yes, you can.
Yes, that's right.
Yes, you can. And same thing inside a school building now. It is. I think the difficulty is trying to figure out what's normal for your children.
Right.
That's the tough road. Because once you understand what's going on, you understand. People are not born. They're not born bad.
Right.
I see kids all the time. We like to put label. Even children, we label them.
Right.
That's a bad person.
Yes.
That's a bad child. Mm-hmm. You don't want to talk to them. You don't want. I said, no. They're not bad. Now, they may act bad.
Right.
They may do things that are bad.
Right.
But they're not bad.
No.
So, and you reach out to them. And so I commend you for the difference you're making in the community, brother.
We're thankful for it. We want to make it hard for people to go to hell in Rowlett.
Yeah.
And it starts not just with the children. We have strong men. That's why the children messed up. Men are not being Christ-like men. And but to allude to what you're talking about, normal. We were the other day in the elementary school, so 4th and 5th graders, and we were given a lesson. I think we asked the question. So, what's been a difficult time for you, or what's something like that? And you're expecting a few of the answers were, well, my mom took my video game away, or I didn't get this for Christmas, and we were just yeah. But then this one girl who sometimes actually she does bad things in our class and acts bad, but she's not bad. Here's what she said with just no emotion. Well, Pastor Kason, I saw Granddad beat up Grandma in front of us, and I had to call the police on him. This is a 4th grader. I said, well, when did this happen? She said it happened last year. So she was a 3rd grader calling the police on her granddad waylaying on his grandmother who was raising them at that time. And that was her safe place up until that. At least she felt, that's who was taking care of them. Right. And then that was dismantled, but with no emotion. Just the same that little kid said across the table about he got his video game taken away or didn't get getting these Nikes for Christmas. And so it just changed the whole atmosphere. And when we realize that, Clay, and we're willing to go in and deal with people's pain, that's what they're looking for. They really are. Just unconditional love.
You said a saying, I'm trying to wrap my brain around, the church that operates other than Sunday. Is that what you said? Or
Yeah. Freedom Place, we're church more than just Sundays.
more than just Sunday.
Actually, Sunday is our minor day.
Yeah.
We come together and thank the Lord. And,
Yeah.
and we still use it in the Western Hemisphere. You know, if you're going to invite somebody in America, it's usually church on Sunday morning. So it is very evangelistic. But it's more than just church on Sundays.
Yeah. We have confused what the church even is.
Yes.
We associate it with the building.
Yes.
We associate it with a day
Yes.
instead of a lifestyle.
Yes.
We had, and this has been further back than I even remembered, because my granddaughter greeted you when you came in. You remembered her as a child.
Oh, yes.
At that time, we were doing church on Saturdays,
I remember.
Saturday nights, and you came and did worship for us.
That's right.
What do you remember about that?
Well, I first remember that warehouse because I brought a team up it was just me and one other guy, but I called it a team. We came up and hung some sheetrock for you when you first got that, and we were still at Brownwood. And then we always kept our connections. And when I came up here to plant, I lead worship. I love playing and leading worship, and you needed help. And I was just planting the church, and I just wanted to sow seed and help. And so we'd go over there on Saturdays, and it was a blast. I brought a team of people that was with our church plant and some other people that we knew local, and we'd have church over there. And it was great days, some hot days. The air conditioner not always worked.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
It was always on. Sometimes you just couldn't tell.
That's right. Yeah, you always had it on. I'd ask you, is the air conditioner on? Yeah, it's on.
Yeah, it's doing all it
okay.
can. Yeah,
All right.
I remember that well.
But I remember people hungry for the Lord, and I think that, if I'm correct, that's when you were actually starting. You were starting you'd shifted to where you were kind of bringing, because you'd had like second and third generation,
Right.
and you introduced me to them, and I was like, okay, he's church planting. I'm gonna help him church plant because I'm church planting, and it was always a joy.
It's been a good. Yeah, I would like to say it's been an easy journey. There's been two difficult things that we've done. The children part is actually the easiest thing we've done. Biggest heartbreaks, but the easiest thing we've done.
Right.
But ministering to youth has always been challenging because by the time they get to those teen years, the things, just like you're talking about that one girl having to call the police on her grandfather, they've experienced so much that their hearts are so calloused.
Yes.
And it's because, we all have this survival mode that we can get into just to exist every day. So by the time they get to be teenagers, man, it's if you haven't reached them by then, it's a pretty tough uphill battle. When we probably the second semester, it might have been the second year, I think it was the second semester when we started youth. We were still over on Oak Line. If you remember when Teen Challenge used to have that old building over on Oak Line.
I remember. Jacob took that building over
Yes,
years
that's
ago.
right. Yeah. And then it burnt to the ground.
It probably should have burned the ground long before that.
You're probably right.
I remember that old Brankety building.
We had 3 14-year-old girls all turned up pregnant the same week.
Wow.
It gets worse. They rode my bus. It gets worse. They came to Sunday school. And so that was difficult for me personally.
No doubt.
I started even questioning. I'm going, is anybody even listening to what we're preaching every week? Because obviously it's not taking root, right?
Right.
So it took me a long time to, I know you would never do this, it took me a long time to forgive myself over that one. And still I'm trying to wrap my brain around, okay, you got to realize where they've come from. You got to realize what their normal is,
Right.
And then the other thing that's most difficult is just planning the church. And I mean, as a church planter, it is particularly in those days. There's not a team that's helping you on this, brother. You're just.
No, I hear these new church planners that say, "Yeah, I don't even know if I'm gonna be able to make it. I only have $200,000 in the bank."
Yeah, right.
$200,000 in the bank.
Cassie, when you first started doing worship with us, we had $20 a week coming in the offering.
Come on.
We weren't even we weren't even getting enough in the offering to put gasoline in the buses.
Right.
So, but having said that, the Lord has done an incredible thing in our church.
Yes.
As you mentioned about the people, you've met Tim. Tim was one of my kids who grew up in West Dallas. About 2 months ago, he was installed as the lead pastor of our church.
Oh, man, yes.
Have a group of people that love the Lord, understand that church is about family.
Yes.
The church is a family.
Right.
And that when we come together on Sunday, it's a celebration time.
Right.
It's an equipping time.
Mm-hmm.
Because on Monday, the work begins.
We're back out. That's right.
We're out there rubbing noses, rubbing elbows, and making a difference. So I want you to know what you invested in. It's incredible what God is doing.
I see that.
In today. The church. I heard you talk about how your church grew during the pandemic, and there was another person and I won't mention his name on air today, but you know this person. His church also grew during the pandemic.
Uh-huh.
His church was really at a crossroads. The church had gotten older. It's an older church.
Right.
And so they used that time to become younger. I mean, like really, really quick. And so the result is, it's got a lot of brand new Christians.
All right.
And they did a lot of outreach stuff for their church. And but what do you think the biggest challenge churches face today as a result of the pandemic?
Well, I don't know if it's, Clay, as a result of. I think the pandemic revealed.
I think
so. Right. I'm playing golf with, well, I won't call their names either, but three of them are masked up, and we're playing golf outside at a minister's tournament. And I just wasn't doing it. And so we're out there, and they get to talk. When pastors get together, the first thing is not, hey, how's your wife? How's your family? It's, how many did you have on Sunday?
Yep.
And I just detest that, Clay.
Yeah. Or how much offering did you have come in?
Or
right?
how about this one? How much did you give to missions last year?
Yeah, I hear you, brother.
Yeah, what's your...
We do need that. When you get to heaven, the first thing the Lord's going to know, can I see those plaques you got?
Yeah, no doubt. No doubt. So we're sitting there playing, and I hear them talking, and they say, one of them says, I've lost 75% of my congregation. I don't know where they're at. I know this guy personally, Clay. Wow. I've known him for years. I know what size of church he has. I know where his church is at. I know his wife. And he said, I've lost 75%. I don't even know where they're at. And the other one chimed in about the same or something. The other one chimed in. I just said, I hope they don't ask me where I'm at. But, it's going to come around. So it came around and said, well, what about you, Huddleston? What about you? I said, well, to be honest with you, we've grown by 4 or 5 families, and I know where every one of my families are at. In fact, we opened up a few weeks before this, and all but one family is not come back, and it's because the wife is super old and older, and she just doesn't feel comfortable. So what we did, we took went and bought a 65-inch TV, put it outside on the sidewalk under a tent, and we let them drive up and just watch TV, watch church. Have speakers out there. We have some of our people out there, so there's like a service. They're worshiping. So I know where all my people are. And to God be the glory, Clay. Okay, but you know what? God just says, well, if you're faithful, I'll give you more. And so we've just always taken that family atmosphere. Be like, you know where your grandkids are at right now? I mean, something tragic happened. What's the first thing, Clay, you're going to figure out? I don't know where my kids are at. how are they doing? So I think it just revealed, and I think churches are trying to, once it's, boom, exposed, now they've got to adjust. And I pray that the big church, the Big C church, will look at what was revealed and alter to where we go back to families, we go back to family atmosphere, we go back to truth, and we go back to, again, allowing the Holy Spirit to work through our lives in those connection relationships. You know, potential without preparation breeds destruction, failure, all of it. And the church has the potential, always has. But if it doesn't prepare, and so that's what I think. I think we're trying to catch up with what's revealed. But the sad thing is, Clay, things have went back to quote normal. And in my heart, me personally, I ain't ever going back. I'm going to always know where our people are at. We're going to always have our team to have that feel, because who would have thought COVID would have come? So what's in the future? And so I think the biggest struggle is that dealing with the things that were already crutches and weak spots in the church life, and staying true to just Acts 2:4, 2:40, 2:42 or whatever. They were all together.
Fellowship.
God's word.
Yeah.
Those simple 4, 5, 6 things. And if we will do that and remain with that, I think we'll be the triumphant church that he's coming back for. He's not coming back for some yankety-jank, some old hag hanging around. He's coming back for a white dress, beautiful, prepped and ready, all in the lamp church.
I was at a church a few months ago, and the church has exploded, and the growth is from new converts.
Yeah.
Not other sheep, new converts.
Right.
And so, me, I'm always, if someone's growing, I want to, okay, what are you doing?
No doubt.
I want to know what you're doing, right? How are you reaching these people? So as I was there, they've outgrown their building, and their foyer's very, very small. And so what they did was they set out their, what I would call first impressions booth, outside the door.
Come on.
And they had a little, like a pop-up tent over it.
Yeah.
And I thought, well, and it was cold that day. It wasn't a warm day, it was cold.
Right.
I went, I'm impressed.
Yeah.
Well, it gets better. After I got there, it started raining.
Oh.
So I'm thinking, okay, they're going to fold that thing up and come inside, right? They never moved.
That's good.
All they did was they got umbrellas out.
There you go.
And they're out there, they're helping people get from their car to inside to church. And they've got coffee and hot chocolate and so forth. Spoke volumes to me.
Oh, yes.
We're glad you're here today. You know what that communicated to me? You're important to me today. Because of this age we live in, there's all kinds of things trying to grab our people's attention.
Just this being stuck, just TV, church on TV, stay at home, live stream. It was so funny back then, everybody would dog televangelists, dog or make fun of them. But brother, come COVID, everybody's taking up offerings on TV.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
and that's one thing too. But if you let people know that they care, like you're saying this church has done, love, man. Who was it said, if you love them, was it Tommy Barnett or somebody? If you love them, you'll never be able to beat them off with a bat. It's
true. Paul wrote this to Timothy. Each week, Cash and I try to give a nugget, something somebody can use. He said in 2 Timothy chapter 3, it says, "You know this, Timothy, that in the last days will be very difficult times. For people will love only themselves and their money. They will be boastful, proud, scoffing at God, disobedient to their parents, and ungrateful. They'll consider nothing sacred. They'll be unloving, unforgiving. They'll slander others, have no self-control, cruel, hate what is good. They will betray their friends, be reckless, be puffed up with pride, and love pleasure rather than God." I believe that this is the greatest opportunity for the church in America. There's never been a time. There's actually never been an easier time to be the church than today.
That's right.
Because people, they got their phones out and they got their YouTube out, trying to figure out. They're looking for something that's real.
That's right.
They're looking. They're searching. They're just searching the wrong places. This is an opportunity for the church to stand up and say. It's like, what was Paul saying? We need to be busy about our Father's business.
That's exactly right.
We can make a difference. Cassie, you made a friend. I'm so bad on time.
That's all right.
I heard you say 30 years. I'm just going. I don't think that's right.
Yeah.
But you've been a friend for a long time. You've met some of our team.
Yes.
You've seen what God's done, just on the church side alone. We have this incredible dream of building long-term permanent facilities.
Yes.
You know Lewis, and they're providing land. So why should people help us today? Why should people invest in this dream of being debt-free of this new facility?
Well, number one, Clay, because of your faithfulness. I mean, of what you have done and what you've established. In other words, a good place to plant seed. That would be number one. The second thing is the need. People are coming to the Metroplex and to, cities faster than anything. Little towns like ours are, Ozona, and they're all drying up, and they're coming to kind of, hubs.
Right.
And with the Dallas-Fort Worth area, as these people are coming, they need a fresh start, a God start. They need a place. Think about Ruth, the Moabite. She was just out there. All she knew was Moabite living. But she met kind of a little bitter lady. She called herself bitter.
Yeah.
But and all we know is that phrase, but you got to, within those verses, you got to know Ruth caught something from somebody before she got bitter, that there's a good God.
Yeah. And
at my wedding, maybe at your and Barbara's, we think we're quoting Solomon or something. That's Ruth. And don't leave me. No, where you're going, I'm going.
Right.
Your God will be my God.
Right.
And people are looking for that. And once, notice Naomi wasn't the one that really changed her. She was just the one that got her to Boaz. And those people need that transition. But it wasn't just Naomi saying, hey, Ruth, yeah, go up there and help. You can get some help somewhere else. She took her with her. She introduced her. She lived with her. And sure enough, Boaz came. And it's funny, when Boaz met her, all before those first chapters, it's always Ruth the Moabite. Ruth the Moabite. But you never see her referenced ever again after she met Boaz as the Moabite, as just Ruth. And that's what I see as a picture. People that are that, they need the church. They need ministries like yours to get them in a place to where they can meet our kinsman redeemer, Jesus, but then also be taken care of afterwards. Social programs are not the answer. Government programs are not the answer. Jesus is the answer.
Right.
And that to me is why. And I pray the Lord Jesus that more churches and ministries capture that heart. And instead of maybe building a big new playground, and I'm not against those things, or whatever, that they might think about at least maybe buying a house or something, and thinking in those ways that y'all are, the full circle of care. That's why. And so that's why we've always and you're just so real. I've taken things from the first day I met you in that class at Southwestern, never left those, and my ministry's always been blessed.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you.
Cass, it's been great to have you here today.
Thank you. It's been awesome. I hope I can come back again.
Thank you. I remember every time I would drive, if I was heading west and I drove through Brownwood.
That's right.
I always called you.
That's right.
Checked on you.
We'd try our best to meet at Underwood's.
Yeah.
But not on Wednesdays, because it's always closed on Wednesdays.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. Hey, we're so glad that you chose to be with us today. It's been great to have Kason. I guess it must have been about 2 or 3 years old when I first met him, because that's because he says we've known each other for 30 years, so figure it out. I really appreciate you watching today. Could I ask you to do this? Would you go to our webpage, dallasmetro.org, and then click on All In. And then click on the bottom of where it says All In, and there you're going to see the pictures that Michael Cathcart has drawn. Beautiful pictures of the facilities that the Lord is building. And I'm asking you, would you prayerfully consider making a commitment for the next 12 months so we can build this facility absolutely debt-free? And when we do this, we're putting this next generation of leaders in a position to win. And they're going to reach more people than Barbara and I have our entire lives. Folks, you're going to make that happen. Hey, thanks for watching today. God bless you. See you next week.